Welcome to Onondaga Nation Arena, where we are back after a slightly longer than anticipated break to bring you Graph-Tex in the white against the Onondaga Redhawks. I'm Chuck Jaffe, and I'm joined by Brian Whitmer, coach for the non-orbital astronauts from Earth and a player on the Glasgow Clydesiders. Brian, welcome to the booth.
Yeah, welcome. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So this a game, two teams that lost last night in the quarterfinals. Each team having played well, but one goal game for the Redhawks against one of the Team USA's. Davy Jones makes that save.
And I believe Graph-Tex lost by one as well.
Yes.
One or two, yeah. So both these teams, could have gone farther, but they're here.
Graph-Tex lost to Gold Star.
Oh, that's who it was, yeah. One goal game. Awesome diving goal to finish out that game.
Yeah, a very late goal that took down Graph-Tex. They played very well this tournament. Nice save there.
Graph-Tex has a fantastic offense. It moves east-west. Gets that goalie moving, whoever that goalie happens to be.
And it's Warren Hill in the net for the Redhawks. Redhawks going to wind up drawing a penalty here. Slashing call going against what is the home team in this arena. So it's not necessarily a surprise. When you're sleeping in your own bed and you are rested and everything else, maybe the tournament's not quite as exciting, but
I would almost disagree. I mean, this is a home game for them. This is something to get excited for. I think these guys love playing here. I actually watched them win the Can-Am finals. About 20 yards from where I'm sitting now. I was sat somewhere else and watched the Can-Am finals. And these guys, it's important to them. Every game's important if you're an OAC player. Yeah,
absolutely. But they do have. I mean, this is a home field, and I know you've played on this turf. This is heavy turf. There's a home field advantage to understanding this turf.
It definitely sucks out a lot of energy. You got to play smart.
The turf monster, there's going to be
that's going to
be a delay of game penalty there. You're not allowed to roll the ball away. When the whistle blows, you need to throw it down. Just drop it straight where you're at. So the penalty to Brian Bucktooth for the slashing call is about to end. However, it will start. The first few seconds will be a two-man advantage because they've got to get him out of the box and get the player on. But a delay of the game penalty. So Brad Gillies has the ball up high. Gillies in the familiar Rochester Nighthawks. So that was Butcher Elm. Another stop there by Warren Hill, but Graph-Tex keeping the ball on the man up. Hill makes it yet another save. Ball picked up in the corner. Aiden Milburn can't handle it there. Gillies gets it back. Ball dished down low and across the crease. And there's the score.
And there's that east-west play. I said it before, but the ball just seems to. If you're gonna get past Warren Hill, you gotta get him moving. So that just east-west, move the ball left to right, left to right.
Kyle Killen with the goal. So we have Graph-Tex out to a 1-0 lead over the Onondaga Redhawks. 3.5 minutes into the game here at the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational, brought to you by Nike Lacrosse. So let's talk a little bit more about this turf, Brian, because you said it sucks the energy out. It seems to be very sticky. Like every now and again you'll see a guy go for a one-handed scoop, and it's like, wait, the stick is just not moving. Suddenly it's just jammed into the ground or whatever. And we've seen it over the time, plenty of guys not scoop it one-handed, but it seems like the turf monster's catching a bunch of guys on that, and occasionally guys' feet just don't seem to move.
Yeah, it's not like long grass, it's not like the long turf, but yeah, it's a little, it catches you. It's soft. It takes a lot of energy out of your feet, and yeah, for some reason it does seem to catch those turf shoes.
Oh, and a quick goal the other way as Chad Levick finishes that pass from Killeen. So it was Matt Hosick winning the draw out, and it winds up being tic-tac-toe ball.
Levick is a RIT grad, a fantastic Division III career for RIT there. I believe he was in the national championship last time they were there.
Well, and Graph-Tex, for those who don't know, has ties to RIT dating way back. So Graph-Tex, and this is before you were born, Brian, but in the 1980s,
I'm an 80s baby.
well, in the early 1980s,
All right, you got me, yeah.
as that ball won out. Matt Noble with it now for the Redhawks. In the 1980s, Graph-Tex was the place to go. It was run by Brent Riley, whose son Bo is on this team. Brent Riley, who was an RIT grad, was doing the best screen printing. If you wanted a lacrosse t-shirt and you wanted it to look good, you wanted lacrosse uniforms that were real lacrosse uniforms, you had to go to Graph-Tex. And in fact, my clubs in Florida, that's exactly what we did. And Brent, RIT ties, and the team has always had RIT ties. There's a lot of guys now who are familiar with the team because they play at Lake Placid and other places, as Matt Hossack.
I was going to say that
shot, but
our Graph-Tex is still the the kings of the trade as far as screen printing and local business there for.
Absolutely. But it's a little bit different now in that you can find a lot more people who are doing what they're doing, and you could find more artists who got involved. Back in the day, Brent Riley and his group, they were the only ones who did good T-shirts with, like, these are lifelike lacrosse players on them. Today, you can find more of that. Graph-Tex still great at what it does.
Great cut inside there.
So,
good
nice
opportunity. That's a fantastic play. That little swat.
Yep, giving the ball back on the fresh 30-second shot clock. So the Redhawks need to make something happen here. They dish that back. Wayne Van Every stopped by Davy Jones. Nice save there to come up with it that cleanly. And then the looping pass ahead to Gillies. Gillies is going to meet some resistance. And that shot goes off the leg. So ball goes back to Graph-Tex as they get the attack out. Yeah, so got a penalty coming up.
Those are tough to stomach. If you keep, they're only a 1 minute penalty, but the too many men call has really been the downfall of a lot of teams here this weekend.
Yeah, well, the too many men call, that's been an interesting thing because what you have is refs who are training for the NLL. When the NLL went to a 3-person ref system, we saw the number of too many men calls go significantly up. And I think in this case, it probably made some sense. Gillies looked like he had the advantage. The defender left a little early. If he had left way early, it would have been a penalty shot. But that shot from Killen, swallowed up by Hill, who looks for the headman pass. Can't connect, now does. Davy Jones with a nice save there, robbing Sterling Claffin.
I believe that's Denzel Weeks in goal there. Davy's on the bench, yeah. Davy's on the bench. Denzel's that was a fantastic save by him. I think we'll see Davy in the second half.
We apologize if we've gotten the goalies wrong.
No worries. These goalies keep changing jerseys anyway. They're not wearing the uniform here.
Yeah, what matters most is keeping the ball out, which thus far has been what Graph-Tex has done. Matt Hossack gets a nice piece, knocks that ball over to Corey Ashmore. And the ball kicks over to Bo Riley. Riley back to Killen. Killen on the left side now gets kicked over. Again, Riley.
Excellent ball movement. I think that's what Graph-Tex has enjoyed a lot of success. It's just the ball moves a lot.
And a nice inside behind the back feed from Killen that got to Damon Curry, but Warren Hill up to the test. So interesting decision here. And you can understand why they're doing it. As often happens when you're playing some of the native teams, they elect to leave a player back trying to create a fast break like they did there. And you have the decision of, are you going to match them or are you going to try to play extra man offense? So that ball, Ron Cogan dishes that ahead. Van Every fed in front to Cogan, and he scores.
That's an awesome ball.
Really nice move as Vince Thomas got the ball inside to Cogan.
Catches that one hand, reaches over that goal. He's got, big. I believe he's actually coaching for Onondaga. He coached for Onondaga this year.
But still shows he's got it as he takes the one-handed grab. And by the way, he was holding his stick. It wasn't just a one-handed grab. It was, I'm going to hold my stick at the throat, give you the smallest possible target, and basically hold it like you would a tennis racket or what have you.
With an assist from 16, Vince Thomas.
So,
I guess that's good coaching. Hey, guys, do this. Watch, look at me. Your turn.
you know, size and strength. We admire speed in the game. Is very often all about speed at this point in box lacrosse, but size and strength still have a place. And Ron Kogan has size and strength.
Yeah, some things you can't practice, like being 6'5".
So here's the long pass.
See, too many again.
Yeah, too many again. Now, in that case, the too many was legitimate for a different reason. It was legitimate because the player was hadn't come off, and the player who was in the substitution area played the ball.
Correct.
That you cannot do.
That's called a rolling change. And in the FIL, they're pretty lenient with that. You know, if you're in the box, you know, you can wait for your buddy. You can wait on the field inside that box. You wait for him to cross that line.
Well, yes, but you cannot be playing the ball while he's getting to that line. That's the issue, is that it was playing the ball.
Correct. And then what we've heard this weekend is they're like, no, you have to be inside the box, like off the floor, and wait until your guy crosses that line. Then you can go. So no rolling change.
Right.
Uh-oh, we're going to see some transition.
So here's
Graph-Tex.
Gillies with the fast break. Fed in front. Warren Hill with the save. Ball kicks away. Gillies able to get it back. Trevor Smith. Back to Gillies. Gillies can't handle it. Can't get the rebound. We'll go transitioning the other way. And so again, leaving one player back and then looking to work the transition game that way. Stop there. Down low. And a goal there. Trying to see who that was that got the goal.
That looked like something out of a drill.
Looked
honestly.
like it was Lee Nanticoke with the goal.
That looked like something, and it is something they practiced, you know, over and over again. These guys play all summer together. You know, that's the team chemistry in action right there.
So we're 2-2 with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half here at the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational, brought to you by Nike Lacrosse. We had a violation on Graph-Tex. So the behind-the-back pass stolen there. Braden Wallace running the break. It's a 3-on-2. Wallace gets it back, feeds it across, unable to handle it. And so the ball transitions back. And so the Redhawks back on offense, kick the ball across. Nanticoke, who scored the last goal, takes that rip from the outside, gets his own rebound, shovels it over.
Those offensive rebounds are killer, you know. We said earlier, though, that turf, you know, eats your energy.
And Matt Noble drives straight down Broadway and is able to finish. And the Redhawks have their first lead of the game.
Matt Noble's a long-time Red Hawk and just notorious for mixing it up in the middle. And, you know, sometimes that paid, more than sometimes, a lot of times that pays dividends. You know, you're willing to work hard and muck it up. That loose ball comes up, and you're going to grab that and score.
Redhawks goal is first of the game.
And so the Redhawks have their first advantage. Little change. Gillies goes to the faceoff dot, but can't come away with it. And the Redhawks make it and take it. Fed in front. Twister can't get through. Gillies. Headman's that. Trevor Smith can't get to the front of the net. Now is 1-on-2.
Great defense by one of the twins there. I honestly can't tell the difference between Clay and Croy Arnold. The Onondaga guys affectionately refer to them each as just twin. You know, they call both guys by the name Twin.
Loose ball here, going to be a quick pickup. Stopped there.
So that was
Graph-Tex still out of position. And Dwayne Porter finishes that feed. And that should get us to the break because the clock continues to run in the first half. And so the Redhawks have scored 4 consecutive goals and taken a 2-goal lead as we get to the half. I'm Chuck Jaffe. I'm joined by Brian Whitmer. We've got a second half coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll be back to the second half in just a moment. You're watching the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational from Syracuse, New York, brought to you by Nike Lacrosse.
What is the future of sport? The next evolution of athlete? Well, we hypothesized that athletes will develop the sixth sense, if you will, extremely heightened instincts. If you look across the animal kingdom, a sixth sense is innate to many species. With the right tools, our athletes can acquire an inexplicable connection to see without seeing, to feel without feeling, to do things that for thousands of years didn't seem humanly possible.
At SISU, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, remoldable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the SISU Next Gen. SISU, talk, breathe, drink.
Welcome back to LaxAllStars.com. And here at Onondaga Nation Arena, they were just talking about how the games are being streamed live for you and how they have awesome announcers. The awesome announcer to my right is Brian Whitmer. He is coach for the non-orbital astronauts from Earth and player for the Glasgow Clydesiders. And he's the awesome one. I'm Chuck Jaffe. I'm just filling the shoes here and trying to get us through this. But also trying to do it is Graph-Tex, which took a 2-0 lead and looked to be in control, and now is falling apart a little bit, and now is going to get a penalty as we get into the first possession as well.
We do have a goal change for Onondaga as well. So we're seeing, I actually don't, we have a roster here. Warren Hill has subbed out.
Warren Hill is subbed out, and that would mean it's Mike Thompson who's in the cage, and if they're doing what they played last night.
He looks shorter.
Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, that was Mike Thompson we had in the first half because Warren Hill's jersey was bigger and Mike needs the bigger jersey. So
okay.
what we had is, and again, so I misidentified the goalie. We have Denzel Weeks playing in the goal for Graph-Tex, and he is staying for the second half, even though Davy Jones, a very qualified goalie as well. So it's the Redhawks who get the penalty. I don't know why they let the play continue all the way down to the far end. The Redhawks get the penalty. Wayne Van Every gets the call.
So that was Mikey Thompson. He still got it. He played an awesome first half.
He does. He played an awesome first half last night as well. So yes, and definitely that's Warren Hill because Warren Hill has the stance where he likes to take that crouch a little bit more, and that one he doesn't crouch into the ball shot by Braden Wallace, and Wallace narrows the gap with a man-up goal to make it 4-3. So Graph-Tex coming right back quickly, answering. And it's interesting because that comeback for the Redhawks sort of started when they were also playing the let's have the guy hang back. And there is always that decision, and it'll be interesting to watch if this game stays close, because there comes a point where on the one hand, you want to say, I'll match them if they're hanging a guy back there. And on the other hand, you go, I can have a man advantage and basically play my man up. And you just saw why you want to do that.
It's all risk reward. And, you know, if you're willing to bet on if you want to bet on black, you got 50% chance. You know, if you want to bet on a specific number, you know, you take the high risk, high reward.
Okay, Brian, we just proved, and I'll explain why, you shouldn't go to a casino.
Yeah, no, then that is the risk.
Except it's not 50% when you bet on black.
Oh, really?
That's correct.
Oh, there's that little green one, isn't there?
That's 2 green spaces. That's called
two green spaces?
That's called house edge, typically. And there's a goal for Graph-Tex. It is, of course, the one player who's not on our roster.
Great little bounce shot there, though.
But great effort to get through. And Graph-Tex has tied things up with 2 quick goals in the first 3 minutes here of the second half. Yeah, so you think it's a 50% chance, 50-50, but that's called house edge.
I'm a craps guy.
It's about 48%. So games that have house edge, that's why you have to understand the house edge. And that's the issue. So, for example, when you play, there's less risk, there's less reward for Onondaga now in the second half. Why would you say that in terms of less reward in the second half to having the guy hanging? Because of where the benches are. So quick draw out.
Yeah, but if you, I've seen Onondaga play. I've been on the other end of it too. You know, played against Onondaga numerous times in the Can-Am. That is very, typical OAC ball. You know,
yep,
they
absolutely.
Instead of all 5 of us doing the hard work, we'll let one guy do the running. We'll let the ball do the work, and we'll try to get the goal in 3 seconds versus 30.
Eddie Chiesa with the one-handed roller. That was an ill-advised shot. The ball comes over to the Redhawks. Agreed. But when you're thinking about that risk-reward, you get much more reward potential for the fast break because you couldn't create a fast break in the other end necessarily when your bench is in your defensive zone. You can put a guy back a little bit and just have him cheat and potentially get him there. Fed ahead.
Breakaway here.
And there's a nice goal by Damon Curry. Damon Curry finishes a pass from Braden Wallace. And that's a case of a quick break and an unlucky bounce that basically took the ball right out to Graph-Tex and allowed them to key that break.
I don't think there was a red jersey on that half of the floor. There was three Graph-Tex guys. There's 3 on goalie. Doesn't.
Well, Warren Hill's coming to the bench, though I don't think he's being subbed out.
I don't think he's feeling it.
Yes, he is being subbed out. So now I have to say that doesn't look like Mikey Thompson. That's too small.
That might be. I think that's Warren Hill.
You're thinking this is Warren Hill.
I think Warren played the first half.
Scored by number 4.
It could have been a third just local guy that I'm not familiar with.
Could be. But whatever it is, his time is over. We'll try to figure that out if we get a break in the action. We'll see what happens here.
I'm not sure he did make a save on those 3 goals in this first half. In this first 5 minutes of the second half. Pretty wide. I think he called himself out. If you're not seeing it, you're not seeing it.
Yeah, that's true. So Graph-Tex killing with the ball, turns the corner. Can't put that one on the frame. Only 5 left on the shot clock. Get it across. Get a piece of the goalie to reset the shot clock, but can't come away with the ball. It comes out to the Redhawks. Fed down on the wing. Unable to handle it there is Van Every.
Big chop.
But he is able to then get the loose ball and dives and lays out. And so Wayne Van Every, with a very athletic play, goes from the oops, I missed it to, hey, let's take this from here. I'm suddenly free, and let's lay out and score.
And that was a high risk, very little reward possible, but with a big chop from the goaltender there. He went for, made a play on the ball, just should have just held his pipe.
Scored by number 81, Wayne Van Every, with an assist by number 11, Adam Yee. Time of that goal, 8:49.
So we're knotted back at 5 as Hasek comes out and wins the draw against Sterling Claffin, but can't put the shot on the frame. Long pass ahead, misses the mark. And now Graph-Tex goes back on it. Damon Curry, who scored the last goal on the transition play, gives it to Killen. Nice save there. Nice save because it was leaning and stepping in the wrong direction and then extended that right shoulder to get a piece of it. So the Redhawks back on the attack.
I don't know if I've
Porter.
ever seen Matt Noble smile.
And are you saying that because he just did for some reason?
I honestly don't think I've seen him pretty happy, but I don't, even when he celebrates like that, and he goes, honestly, that great transition work, mucking it up in the middle, and he did have a goal in that first half.
Yep.
I still don't think I've ever seen him smile.
Well, he should be smiling now because Wayne Van Every scores his second straight goal, and that gives the Redhawks back the lead. So
Is
it's
that his
6-5.
I think he had the first one. I think that's his
Red Hawks goal, his
hat trick. I think it's a hat trick.
Second of the game.
Second of the game?
Second of the game.
With an assist for number 23, Dewey Porter.
So Porter gets the assist on the goal.
24.
About halfway into the second half. That loose ball goes out to Corey Ashmore, fed in front, or dished out rather, as Ashmore drove in front. Aiden Milburn gets the ball back.
Heavy
Can't get
pick
that.
there by Milburn there. He let him have it. That's that fine line between, the pick they let go and the pick they don't let go as far as
Well,
officials.
of course, if these refs are going to be NLL refs at some point, they have to let a lot of that stuff go because at the highest level, you want to see them, you want to let them play as much as you can. So there is that fine line, but
Hand goes up. I'm not sure what the call was. A little too much holding inside there.
that grabbed a stick, I believe is what they're saying.
So good defense does involve a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding, making sure guys don't slip and roll on you. But, sometimes you just get a little too much, and you have to pay a minute for it.
Corey Ashmore, 1 minute minor for holding the stick. Timeout penalty, 5:40.
Well, nice save there, stopping Braden Wallace. By the way, it's Corey Ashmore who got the penalty. Corey Ashmore scored earlier. We have Corey Ashmore as our roster in numbers 8. He's wearing number 1, which means that whenever I have called out Corey Ashmore's name, I was talking about somebody else. And if you've been at home wondering why we're not getting the names right, sometimes that happens when you are in a tournament where guys are swapping jerseys because of sizes and things like that. It does happen. And in this tournament, some of the teams, like the Redhawks, well, this has been a tournament where when the team started on Thursday, it was who could get here. And then you get to the weekend and reinforcements arrive. So Graph-Tex back on the attack as the penalty is about to expire, and it does. They've got 15 on the shot clock. So they bring Gillies up. So now they're not playing with the trailer, but they got to worry about this because the shot clock's about to expire. Got to worry about the long bomb.
And there it is.
Stopped by
Great
Denzel
save.
Weeks. Great save. So Gillies had gone forward, but with not much time left, they allowed him to stay. And it worked out very well for the Redhawks there. So we'll try to measure some of this risk reward as we watch it in the second half with 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, you might get that breakaway. You still have to bury it,
But again, with a 1-goal lead, you'd think you want to max up your defense, protect your own net, and not run the risk that you give it up on the defensive end. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams play it because, of course, Graph-Tex has a decision as well. Correct. At some point, they have to push forward to get the ball.
I think that's part of the reward of leave that guy. Is you make them change their. Oh wow,
Nice
great save there.
Stop there. Braden Wallace with the shot. He got one by in the run that they had. But let's not forget, if as we think it is, the change has been back to Warren Hill in the cage, that Graph-Tex did not have an easy time scoring, and now we're going to have an interference call against Aiden Milburn because they're going to say that Hill had possession. So at this point, they've got the 6th attacker forward. They got 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And time is also in their favor as they are winning. So we're at 2:40 And this could run down almost to the 2-minute stop time before they get things set up.
I bet we will get to 2 minutes. The one downfall of a running clock is it just takes so long to set the play.
Well, I was going to say they were just about to start it. There we go. Now we've got it, as it is Milburn in the box for goalie interference. So they did get it done quickly because we're still at 2:15 roughly.
And these are quality officials who know that
Graph-Tex penalty.
in all fairness to both teams.
And Van Every, it's been the Wayne Van Every show. There's your hat trick.
It was a self-fulfilling prophecy.
As it's now a natural for Wayne Van Every. He scored the last 3 goals, and those 3 goals have been the one that brought them from behind, the one that gave them the lead, and now the one that might be an insurance marker. I guess those would be the 3 most important goals of the game right now.
That's a pretty yeah.
I'm just saying this because at some point we're going to be giving out stars. We're not doing it yet because it happens in the placement games.
Well, if you single-handedly take the game over and it's a minute.
Redhawks goal is third of the game, score number 81, Wayne Van Every. With an assist from 23, Joey Porter. Goal 2-0-2.
So, bad penalty here coming to Graph-Tex.
Yeah, very unfortunate here. You're down 2, and there's a minute 48 with a stop clock. You can get it done, but
you can get it done. We saw last night the Redhawks almost come from behind, basically having in the last couple of seconds. And it was a game where Team USA had the option and wound up shooting a ball into an open net when they should have. No, it wasn't. It was the Thompson brothers game. Sorry, it was the Thompson brothers game. And Lyle Thompson scored into an empty net. And there's nothing that Lyle Thompson does that you want to criticize. But when he scored with like 15 seconds left, he could have killed out the clock.
Yeah, they now get an opportunity.
The best chance that the other team had was to win the faceoff and score, which they did, and then win the next faceoff and get a shot, which they did. So it went from, it's theoretical, it's not a big deal, to it's a very real issue.
I guess when you're just the best, when you're the best in the world at scoring goals, it's kind of hard to turn it off, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, but you could also be the best in the world at killing clock, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Van Every shoots that high. That was early and didn't need to, but they can't connect on the break. So 40 seconds remaining as the Redhawks look to close this out. So if the winner of this game is playing for 5th place,
and that
should do it. Ball's with Matt Noble. He might be smiling in just a moment. We'll have to see if we can see it through his face mask. But that should do it for, Matt Noble there, down Matt and Cody Ashmore giving a little back and forth. Matt giving a little more back and forth. So they won, and yeah, you were right. There's not going to be a smile at the end of the game from Matt Noble. Or maybe I sense a little bit of one.
I'm not sure if we're calling that a smile. What is a smile anyway?
A smile is a good way to ease up your day.
If you're an Onondaga Redhawk, you're smiling.
Absolutely, because the Redhawks have beaten Graph-Tex, which means they will play for 5th place later today. Graph-Tex will be back later today as well, playing for 7th place. I will be back later as well, calling more games here and over at the Onondaga Nation Fieldhouse. But meanwhile, I have to thank my partner, Brian Whitmer. Brian, thanks so much for joining me on the game.
Thanks for having me.
For Brian Whitmer, I'm Chuck Jaffe. Thank you so much for watching the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational Tournament, brought to you by Nike. We'll be back to the action in Syracuse with another game where Steven Stamp will be on the call in just a few moments. Stick around, folks. There's lots more lacrosse to come all day on laxallstars.com.
What is the future of sport? The next evolution of athlete? Well, we hypothesized that athletes will develop the sixth sense, if you will. Extremely heightened instincts. If you look across the animal kingdom, a sixth sense is innate to many species. With the right tools, our athletes can acquire an inexplicable connection to see without seeing, to feel without feeling, to do things that for thousands of years didn't seem humanly possible.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.